Hello everyone and welcome to Cookies Enabled. I am Will, your host, and unfortunately I'm alone today. I do not have my partner Andrew. He is off a little bit today getting some things done, and that is totally okay. I understand completely. It's surprising that I am even here actually. I do have the day off, thank goodness. I desperately needed it and I am very tired. But I'm here and I was able to get some research done this week. Now, last week I did have a request via the pop-up comments to have some veterinary science, and I did my best in my spare time this week to research any. I couldn't really find anything that was breakthrough that wasn't like 5 years old that we probably already heard about. So hopefully I will find something better in the coming week, and I'll be able to get back with you with some special stuff, or maybe I'll just have a whole episode on that. But I wanted to bring that up because it's really cool to have those comments, and again, I have my screen open here if you can see me looking over to the side to check viewers and comments just to make sure, since I am all alone today as we see at work. So the schedule also may be changing. It looks like starting the first week of September, or September 1st, I may not be broadcasting until the afternoon, probably more around the 3 o'clock. So hopefully that'll be better for everybody's schedules. I'll definitely keep y'all posted and make sure that it's on like our Facebook groups and Instagram, Twitters and whatnot. Make sure everybody's aware of if there is a time change. Right now it's going to stay at noon, but if it changes, I'll keep you guys posted. So usually start by me jumping off to Andrew so he can do some space news. But Andrew's not here today, which is totally fine. So I am going to do space news today. I'll pull up my little space news bubble icon. So SpaceX, unfortunately, we really hit a lot of the SpaceX news as far as I could tell last week. They didn't do a ton of extra stuff other than handling the lawsuit between NASA and some of the other competitors to SpaceX, is what I will say there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I think everybody knows who that is. Anyway, because they're mad that SpaceX is getting all this attention and all these exclusives, and they're just doing a better job, which I think is hilarious, because this is exactly why the whole private sector rockets and space launch thing is so critical. Is because if a company can do it right or do it better, then it's just going to propel the competition to step it up even more. So come on now. I mean, this is great. Now, we did talk about the tallest rocket ever put together in history yesterday, and I will show, or today, but last week. And this guy is definitely going to be doing a full test launch with an orbit, is what at least it's proposed. And I think this is scheduled for the 26th, so it might be pretty close to our broadcast. It might be just after our broadcast. So we might be talking about this in 2 weeks, not next week, but we'll probably mention this again next week as well. This thing, if you missed our episode last week, we really dive into the details of them building this and how it set a world record for literally the tallest rocket ever constructed, which is really cool. So kudos to us scientists and everybody for getting that completed. Pretty awesome. And hopefully it goes without a hitch. I mean, they put a lot of money into this and endless research. So I really think this is going to be something that's really going to shine. I think this in a good way. I mean, we've seen some major disasters happen with big projects like this in the past. So, you know, it's a real fingers crossed situation, and I'm sure they're putting their nails about everything with this rocket, because it's a pretty big deal. Like literally the biggest of deals, I guess, or something like that. So really cool stuff. Again, if you missed this rocket and how it was built, put together, all that stuff we talked about last week, please check out that video from last week. It's really cool. I'm going to jump ahead here and hit Hubble. So Hubble is back again, still operating, fully functional. If you missed us talking about Hubble and the whole issues with that, that's I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. I think it was episode 19 or 20 of our live episodes. Hubble was down and disabled for almost a whole month. You'll hear me whining and complaining about Hubble being down, but now Hubble is back in operational, thank goodness, but running completely on spare parts. So if she dies now, she's gone. But she's still working, and this is proof. She has photographed these 2 galaxies that are actually colliding together, and there actually is a what looks like a gap between them, or a void, and so they're calling the Hubble or the Milky Way gap or something, which is a really, I don't know, semi-misleading way of I don't know, perspective, because it's not necessarily disappearing. There's no gap. It's not like there's just a void or anything. I mean, at least not from the images that me from this particular view. But what's really happening is as these are two colliding, they're actually drifting backwards into that, you know, extra space, and kind of forming a whole kind of other bubble of gases and matter and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's really what's happening, and from the Hubble's point of view, it definitely looks like you've got this big gap in the Milky Way. Now, the image that they had on the article I was reading was completely computer generated, and it was fake, which is why I'm showing you this one, because this is the actual photo that Hubble took, which I think is way more interesting. The picture is huge. I should have blown it way up more. Unfortunately, it would have filled the screen so big, you know, it would have been almost possible to see. But if you post all of these links in our source links after the show. So once I get done broadcasting, I go back and I post all these links for you guys to go check out, in case you do want to know more information. And know that I'm not pulling your chain or making anything up or anything like that, because there's a lot of that out there, and I'm trying to make sure we don't have any misinformation on this show. So that's a big part of it. So thank you, Hubble. I love you so much. You're doing such a great job floating around up there. It's been 30 plus years, and you are still bringing us beautiful photography, which I am very happy about. And I think it looks great. And good job with Hubble. And we're moving on here. Sorry, I checked my list. Okay, that's right. Yes. Okay, so on a little bit more exciting note, kind of exciting, we had some dangerous situations going on with space. This image here that I'm showing you is technically space junk that is built up over the years, and it's not all, this is blown way out of proportion, I should say, as well. So all these little satellite icons have been blown up really big to make them more visible, essentially, in the picture. So some of these objects are really tiny, microscopic. You will see them, and other ones would probably be pretty noticeable. You know, like they made everything like the size of a space station for some reason, so they're really big. So it looks like a lot more cluttered than it actually is. That's why you don't like look out at the stars like, why are there 8,000 stars that are just floating around and burning up? But this is a really good example of kind of the just mass debris that humans have thrown to space over the, I don't know, 40, 50 years we've been doing it. So like really what's happening here is that there was a collision. We had Russian space debris run into an operating military Chinese satellite. Totally took it out. And I think some footage you may have also seen on YouTube that I did not report on about like Russian UFOs or shooting stars or meteors, something crashing through the atmosphere just a couple weeks ago, was actually this collision of a satellite, of one of the Chinese military satellites. And the reason why they probably played it off as something else was because they didn't want people to know it was a Chinese military satellite. It burned completely up in the atmosphere, so it's nothing for anybody to worry about. It's not like anything really damaged or hit anybody or hurt anybody. Nobody got hurt on Earth. Okay? Not yet anyway. So the problem with this collision is that some of the debris from the satellite is still in space spinning around the globe. And that's a problem because it's really hard to map those debris and figure out exactly if those are going to burn up into space, crash into other satellites, cause other issues. And as you can tell by the graph here, it really wouldn't take much. Kitty is going crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. If you hear her in the background, she's having a day. So, sorry. Anyway, the satellites, it really wouldn't take much. It would be like a tidal wave kind of effect. And I was supposed to do a little more research on that, and I got tired and went to bed. So I'm sorry. There is a phenomenon in molecular science. You can kind of throw a pebble like this, and then that hits something else, and then that causes kind of chain reaction, and it's something effect. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Beat me up about that later. Again, the source links that I will post will mention all of this math and science stuff that I'm talking about. I've just been really tired and very worked lately. So sorry about that, everybody. But space news. So yeah, space junk could potentially become an issue and dangerous in the future. I don't think so. No, I don't think this is a real threat that anybody needs to be worrying about the sky falling. This isn't a Chicken Little situation. This was just Russian space junk that nobody had been paying attention to for probably 20, 30 years. Just happened to crash into a satellite that was probably not supposed to be where it was supposed to be, or planned on being. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Hopefully I'm not sounding any red flags for China or whatever, since I have a huge viewing audience outside of the United States. I appreciate all of my viewers, by the way. Thank you all for tuning in. And that is technically all the space news I have for today. Again, I will post all that link in case you guys want to know more about that story, because it's pretty cool. Now, I know there's a lot going on with the vaccines, and like the COVID-19 and the pandemic. I'm not downplaying any of that. This is definitely a big deal. Very serious. Everybody should take that very seriously. And one company that has had some marvels in their research in the last 5 years has been Moderna. They have been working privately on an HIV vaccine for quite some time. And I know I'm totally spinning off topics here, but I'll come back. You'll see the loop around here. You'll see. So the reason why I'm bringing this back up is because about 10 years ago, you go back, there's no new news, very little research, it's just a lot kind of hit a wall, essentially. And then the mRNA research kind of came out very recently, 8 to 5 years ago, and now that has massively changed the way we look at vaccines, especially. And with COVID-19 hitting in 2019 and all through 2020, wow, we had a massive explosion of needing a vaccine that was not only safe and effective, but could work on a large scale and minimal side effects. And voila, mRNA was our answer. And not only did Moderna have this technology, but Pfizer has had this technology for quite some time. So not a big surprise there. And so Moderna has turned around and said, hey, because of COVID-19 and the research globally that was done to produce the COVID-19 vaccine, we may actually have a viable there's actually 2 viable HIV vaccines that could potentially be really useful. And now they didn't give any statistics. I did some digging on this one because this is a big deal. And there's been a lot of talk about a vaccine or cure, but this is not really a cure. It is definitely a vaccine. Really, what they're claiming here is that because of COVID-19's research that went into developing that particular vaccine, because that virus is not in the same family as HIV. It's in the same family as SARS, and you should all know that. It's respiratory, very different than HIV. But how they the body and or hide from the body is key. So that is really what boosted the help with these HIV vaccines. So now suddenly they're like, not only do we have the mRNA, genetic codes that we need, possibly for 2 different strains, we also have a possible vaccine that can prevent you from getting it altogether. So now they have human trials starting, and you can sign up for these human trials right here in the United States. So if you're interested, I will again dive into my sources, and they will have the links there for you to sign up for the clinical trials. Now, these trials for years. This first one with human trials is supposed to go for 2 years. And so 2023 is when we will be hearing the results from the first trial. And then I think the second one was 5 years. So again, we won't hear the really full results from this within a good 5 to 7 years rollout from both tests, because there's 2 different HIV vaccines that Moderna's come up with. So kudos for them for, actually getting on the ball here and doing something about it, and actually trying to be proactive, especially against a virus that has been, it's right up with like pretty much trying to cure the cold. So good job, everybody. Well done, science. Again, you don't believe me, check out my sources, because I really had some hesitations on this one as well. I almost didn't report on it, I definitely believe this needs some mentioning because this drastically changed the world and heal a lot of people. So really, really cool stuff. Take a second here and take a little drink. I'm getting so parched. My goodness. Okay, so jumping gears here again. Now we're going to talk about phones again. I know I talked about phones last time, and we should have hit more on like the iPhone 13. The reason why I'm not hitting on that is because there's just too many rumors, and Apple has not confirmed nor denied enough of them to be like, yeah, this is what it's going to look like, guys. Go ahead and watch. And no, I can't do that. Now, I did have that ability with the Samsung Folds because there was a bunch of rumors, and then Samsung literally came right out and said, actually, you guys are right. We're just going to confirm it right now. So that's why I jumped on like 2 weeks ahead of the unboxing. Was like, this is what it's going to be. Oh my gosh, water resistance. Yes, I'm still talking about those stupid fold phones. I'm going to pull that video back up here. I hate to say stupid, but I know a lot of people just are excited about this, especially after reading the reviews after the first about week or two that most developer previews had these phones. The Fold Z3 seems to be very popular. The biggest complaint with that is finding a case that works with it. I don't even know why you'd bother at that point. It's a foldable phone. It doesn't need a case. It pretty much is a case. Anyway, so good luck. And then with the Z Fold 3, also kind of the same issue. Not really a lot of case options, as well as the inside screen is a little plasticky apparently. And more to the touch. Like you can feel that you're pressing on the feel glass strong, like all the other Samsung phones you've probably ever had, or Apple for that matter. It has a soft touch apparently, but it's not supposed to feel plasticky. This is supposed to feel a lot more sturdy. So if you don't want to deal with a folding phone and you want something that can kick some booty on games, Asus ROG 5 phone may be just exactly what you're looking for. So this awesome thing, make sure I muted this. Yep, I did. Okay, sorry. It has a screen on the front and on the back. Now they've made a few phones like this, and if you don't know Asus, they're not huge into phones, but the little bit of technology they come up with is like revolutionary because the thing has dual batteries, dual speakers, dual screens because it's got one on the front, one on the back. It has a clip-on fan cooler that helps cool down the display. Now, Samsung keeps pushing, oh, we got a 120 hertz display. This thing is 360 display. It is double the responsive touchiveness, or whatever you want to call it. The touch sensitiveness is twice as sensitive as an Galaxy S21 Ultra. So that is a lot to boast. Plus this thing has Snapdragon 888 Plus processor in it, which they mention numerous times on here. Now, I have to kind of point out, they claim it is a battery pack of 6,000 thing. It's actually 2 separate batteries, each 3,000. So it's weird that they had to split the batteries up and they put the processor literally smack dab in the center of them. That is very different design than I've ever really seen from most phones. I want to say most phones have your processor. Where's mine? Here's the back of my phone, right? So your processor is probably somewhere in this quadrant here, and your battery pack would fill this whole side there. Now, that's just a guess. I mean, that's usually how iPhones are built and several other ones. There's little, connectors and wires and things that kind of hold everything together. I did notice that this thing does do not only USB-C as your charging option, your only charging option. There is no wireless charging option for this one, apparently, because you got that back screen and the batteries and a bunch of other random things. But it does have a headphone plug, so that's helpful. I actually prefer the headphone plug because you can use that for so many other things other than just headphones. So I like that functionality. Very cool. This thing is definitely sleek looking. I'm going to show you just the still image of it instead of showing this thing over and over again. This is the front and the back. This is the white version. The other one, there's a couple of different colors. Now these are not necessarily for sale in the United States. It's also something weird. But get this, you can order one and just change the region and put a regular SD card in it from T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever, and poof, it will totally work in your region, no problem. So you absolutely can actually have this, just because Verizon doesn't sell it or T-Mobile doesn't sell it, or whatever network you're on. And that includes like Metro PCS and Team, all the little, crappy mobile whatever ones you want to be in. Literally, I miss Sprint so much because they used to find phones like this and always have like these exclusive offers and weird clip-ons and cool options and stuff. They don't really do that stuff anymore now that it's all T-Mobile. It's all just smoke and mirrors, I feel like, and I'm so sorry. I am still on T-Mobile and I'm starting to down on them, but I don't know. I mean, I have not to see any improvement since they've switched. Anyway, so totally different note. This phone's pretty cool. If you're looking for something to kick some booty and you just want to blow everybody's minds around you and be like, you know what, you've never even heard of this phone, I guarantee it. Yeah, I'm probably have heard of this phone. I have only seen one of these prototype, or not necessarily prototypes, but one of these kinds of phones in existence before. I had a coworker that came to work at Taco Bell for about 2 weeks that had I think the third version of this phone. Is it the third or fourth version? It was pretty cool. It was awesome to see. It was the first one I've ever seen actually someone pull out of their pocket and be like, I have a gaming phone. I was like, that's rare. I don't ever see anybody mention gaming phones. So very cool. That is becoming very popular, especially with like the Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch. The OLED version just came out, so they're really kind of pushing mobile gaming more. Even rumors of Netflix maybe jumping into the gaming realm. So I guess they've been doing some beta testing on that. I have no idea how that's going to go. Probably not well. I would not sign up for that right away. Definitely hold off on that one. I just don't trust Netflix as much as I trust like Microsoft, and that's not much. So anyway, I know the Google has a streaming thing. So I always forget what it's called. This is where I need Andrew. And Estatida or something. I always forget what it's called. But that one also is kind of hit and miss. I've both reviews that if you're always like working and you're mobile, it's great, because you can keep up on your games, but you got to just deal with like lag and other issues. And it just doesn't sound like a pure gaming experience to me. The Steam Deck totally did that, and so does the Switch. I already own one. I love it. So those are actual gaming devices, and I do game on my phone because my S10 I would consider to be an actual gaming device. Actually, Microsoft, when the S10 first came out, had a special promotion where you could play only their game on that phone for like, I think it was like a year or something. And then they dropped all of that and upgraded the phones, and I think you can still do that. I have yet to try that. I'm sorry. I should test that out one of these days. But anyway, so it wasn't a full phone this time, gotcha, but it still had 2 screens, so got you there. So the only other news I got for you guys this week is robot news, and I don't know if robots scare you guys. They kind of freak me out a little bit. I like robots because they can be so helpful, and I hate to use that word robot, but it's kind of what these are, because we're really just still programming them to learn and to understand their environments and stuff, so they're really, unfortunately, very much chained to us humans. For a good reason, because what you're about to see might scare you guys too. I mean, at first it doesn't seem so bad, and then it gets a little crazy. So this is Boston Dynamics, everybody. I don't know if you've ever heard of this company. They've been working on really military-style robotic kind of equipment to help the troops carry things around in tough situations or in situations and stuff. Robots have proven out to be pretty amazing. SpaceX uses them to clean up the launch pad materials and whatnot as well. And to help scout for materials. They have tons of cameras and all special sensors and things in them. Really, really awesome. Here's one that's supposedly doing parkour, as they said in the video. So I was like, okay, let's check this out. And this video doesn't seem very scary. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, they're just climbing. It's a couple of steps. And this is actually a really big deal, because for it to have done all of these movements, and this is actually apparently not pre-programmed, which was also kind of interesting as well. So I was surprised by that. Is that it can somehow like scan the terrain and figure out what to do. So that was really exciting, because I love to see computer learning and kind of building on their environment. So here's the next video. This one kind of freaked you out. This one's like, okay, if I was running from a robot, I would try to like at least jump up on, get on some things and get around some stuff, whatever. And this thing would just not have any problem keeping up with you. It looks really scary. I mean, it's not like it's super fast. You could easily still outrun it, but you could probably push it over at any time too. I don't know what would happen there. But I mean, this thing can jump
and land very easily. And there's another one working right alongside. They're like running and banking off of the walls. And now there is several more videos on the Boston Dynamics YouTube channel that explain the programming behind these robots and how they get them to kind of read the environment and adapt to the environment that they're in. You know, now they're like dancing and back flipping off of stands onto other stands and stuff. Yeah, that's where I'm like, okay, Terminator, this is getting a little freaky. You know, Boston Dynamics. So really, this could be very helpful. These are the people that brought you the original robots you probably saw back in the 90s that were like grabbing your mail and petting your dog and taking it for a walk for you, and, you know, doing your dishes and stuff. Now this thing will be able to like jump, you know, and push the bus out of the way and save you like Superman or something. Now again, this is more military applications. Like we need these boxes of this equipment moved here and there, and our guys are busy doing whatever it is that they're doing, so we're gonna have these robots do it for us. Or maybe these boxes are just really oblong shapes or hard to move, or whatever the situation may be. Maybe it's a dangerous area like Fukushima or something. You might be able to send a robot like this in there to kind of get a preliminary report in certain readings, certain areas and stuff. That is really the applications we're looking at here. Kind of where can we remove a human and replace it with a robot that can be possibly controlled remotely by a human, is really what we're looking at. We're like a droid situation. So really cool. Great job, Boston Dynamics. This was awesome. And I absolutely love these little robot dances and flips and stuff. I know in Japan, these robots are just like awesome. And I'm not sure exactly how long they've been working on this. I know Atlas, that name's been around for at least a good 5 years or so. It looks like they've gotten the foot to do more trajectories and kind of more of a human jumping, kind of like he's feeling his own weight. And that's something we haven't really seen robots be able to do. More jerky, I'm gonna twist and move. And I know that is not easy to program either, because you got to be able to get the computer to recognize not only its own movements and the consequences, but you know, the control of the situations based on the parameters, essentially. What is this box? Can it hold me? Can I hold it? You know, what is the situation there? So pretty cool. I like this stuff. Hopefully you guys do too. I know that it's probably one of the shorter episodes I've had today, only because I'm just hitting the 30-minute mark is what my broadcasting marker is telling me. So I'm not super behind the times, but I've had Mortal Kombat playing in the background there. Kitty, I think, has finally fallen asleep, which is great. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. It looks like at least one viewer popping in and out today, so I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys had a great time. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything on my list, and I did hit it all. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great week. I will definitely see you next week, Wednesday as well at noon. Hopefully we will have Andrew back. I know our work schedules have been totally crazy. Definitely next Wednesday I will be out for sure. So I will hopefully see you all then. I am probably going to go take a nap now. But I appreciate you all for tuning in. You have a wonderful day. I love you all. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that on anything I talked about, there's an email right up here. And it's you can send all of your thoughts to that email, and I will definitely let you guys get back to you as soon as I can, probably within 48 to 72 hours. So let me know what you guys are thinking about the channel, what main episodes you would like coming back on the 4th, and just let us know, guys. I appreciate all, and I will talk to you guys later. You have a wonderful day. I know I learned something new, and hopefully you did too. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great one.